as we welcome you, one of the things that we had discussed was really sharing the value of this for students. And all of us in here seems that we're experienced. We understand this is why we're here. But when it comes down to it, it is really quite phenomenal for those of you that done this. The way students engage in this, because it's so hands-on. It's such a personal project, but it's got this shared interactive community to go along with it, in which a rigor is then infused, which they don't even realize a rigor because they're enjoying this process. As an educator, one of the other things that I always admire about this work is that it is not a checkbox for just checking off a stamp. It is not something that is an arbitrary assignment, but this is something that becomes personal, and it's something that's transferable to careers. And that's the biggest thing that I look for. All of our kids have stories to tell. And us as educators, we all have 1,000 things to do, and sometimes we suppress their stories. Jorge has been a phenomenal educator at this. And Jorge, if you want to just speak on some of the benefits for educators doing this project.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when I was starting up to teach, a lot of different levels at the same time, this is when I became aware of this program. So I went in really early when it was being piloted. And for me, it's been amazing. I've been hearing, a lot of folks that have already used this program, so you're already familiar with it. But so if I reiterate something that you already know, I apologize. But now I've been using it for a couple of years, and what I've seen, it's just like things that it's very difficult to describe. The students that go through this program, they really are able to really come out of their shell. You'll get the really shy ones, right? So I've been able to see them really come out of their shells when they have a platform to share their stories. And then high school students too, okay? Because sometimes they might be a little too cool for school, but when they get a chance to share their work as a team, same thing. They're laughing together, they're sharing these stories together.
Stories are what connect us, right? They're what help us learn about each other. It's what help us feel empathetic. They're also critical skills for the work world. And this program is a creative community that supports each other, right? And that takes our natural storytelling instinct and combines it with the approaches that professionals use to help give everybody those skills they need to feel more secure and comfortable telling meaningful and entertaining stories. So, for me, getting to see and hear all of your students' stories, that's the magic of all of this.
And just so everyone knows, I was at Khan Academy about 6 or 7 years ago when I met Tony Elise from Pixar, and they wanted to work together to create something to let anyone go behind the scenes at Pixar. And I would say one of the big things I took away from my time learning what happens at Pixar, I really did think it was all about 3D graphics, and it's really all about story reels, which is telling your story with simple drawings that communicate your idea effectively. And a story reel is not only how Pixar and other studios prototype their films, but a story reel will make you laugh, it'll make you cry. And if the story reel doesn't work, the animation could never save it. And so Story Xperiential is built around the most authentic possible industry project, which are things we know artists have in their portfolios that they bring to their job interviews. So yes, it's a comprehensive language curriculum. Yes, it's fun, but it's also actually putting kids through the motions to create portfolio materials that industry would recognize. That's what gets me most excited about this program, just as a kind of an outsider. I'm not from the animation industry. This program kind of makes it so that anyone has their parents working at Pixar, helping them, or their guardians, giving them that behind the scenes look they wouldn't otherwise have. So for anyone new to our program, it follows 8 steps that mimic what happens in industry. So it's not about just telling your story once, it's about retelling. Because in industry, it's all about rewriting. Writing is rewriting. And so going through the process of sharing your work in progress and iterating at each step is really critical. And that's kind of why we built this platform. And so, for example, our program begins with an orientation, which is really important because we've designed this orientation to basically solve any problems you think students might have right up front. so that if you do orientation, you're going to be okay, likely, in the rest of this course. And as kind of Dennis did at the beginning of this program, this hello world activity we've woven into our orientation. So I'm going to skip through orientation. It's what you'd expect, where we show students like, this is what you're going to do. Here is the output. And again, we don't tell you what medium to use in this program. Simple pencil and paper is all you need. And if you want to use animation software, you can. But we're kind of agnostic in terms of what you use. It's really a storytelling program. And so kind of the key technical hurdle, though we've made it as small as possible, is that each of those steps, you're going to have to upload a video and what we call a story reel. And that simply involves uploading a few hand-drawn frames, whether they're your pencil drawings or something you've sourced or used in an animation software, and basically adding some voiceover to that. And to do that, well, again, we let you use whatever you want, but we do provide free browser-based software with a little 2-minute tutorial to make sure, can you make a very simple video that combines a few images and your voice? And so to make sure everyone is on board to be able to do that, I'm just skipping ahead because the key task in our orientation is make a hello world video, which is, a 6-second video like this, just who you are and what country you're from. We say do a stick man because, again, it's not about the art. And so that first task will ensure what's your medium, do you have an editing tool, do you know how to download the video, and most importantly, at every step in our program, there's a button at the bottom where students upload their work. And I'm logged in as a student now, so it says edit because they've already uploaded. But basically what I want to show you is after a student uploads their work, the gallery opens. They're able to see all the other students in the program, which, again, in terms of engagement, what's most critical is students are not only seeing that they're part of a huge community telling stories with them, but other people in this community care about their story and are going to provide notes on the story. And so I want to show you precisely kind of how that works by jumping to the first step in our program, which is the what if exercise. It's really the brainstorming step in our program where students, again, their task is fun. It is, let me go over to this page here because I'm in the student view. They're coming up with basically 3 sentences and images for a story. What if shadows could talk? What if I could live in my pictures? This sort of thing, which is exactly, how they brainstorm things at Pixar. And so we always provide the learning content you need to get to that deliverable from industry experts. And always at the bottom of the page, we specify your deliverable. In this case, what are your 3 what if statements? You need 3 images, put that into a video. We always give examples of students' previous student work, so they kind of have a sense of what others have done for inspiration. And this button, always at the bottom, and this is why we built the platform. You don't see this on other learning platforms. Is as soon as you click this button, your work then goes into the what if gallery. And as a student, when I go into the what if gallery, initially I can't get in. And this is kind of key, which is you not only have to share your work, but you have to comment on other students' work at every step. And so the way our algorithm works is it will take 4 random submissions that haven't been seen yet, and they'll display them here. They will ask you to give your feedback here, and you'll see we even have a little feedback bar that makes sure you write at least a sentence or more of substantive feedback. And then I can add my comment. We also have prompts to help students, and we're constantly trying to improve this feedback process. But I'm not going to give feedback on live work, but imagine I do my 4 pieces of feedback, and then this what if gallery opens. It's exciting. My work is here, and so is every other user's work in the program. And at every step is the same kind of thing, a little bit of learning content, a deliverable, and then feedback, and you progress all the way through to the exhibition. And so throughout this process, We also constantly have live streams on Monday with different industry pros who come in to talk about different aspects of storytelling. Again, another way that we try to make this as real as it gets, to keep students engaged. And that happens over on our live stream page, where students can add, there's a live chat. They can also submit questions to the host who appears here. And of course, we know people miss live streams. So we have a growing library of live streams with every host who's ever been in our program, which is a lot of fun. Two last things I want to show you and then take any questions. One is that as students finish this program, we have an exhibition, which is very exciting. We're not about winners and losers. We're just about really every student having a real deadline and being proud of finishing something, even if it's unfinished. Submit whatever you have to the exhibition, because everyone in the exhibition not only has a chance at peer recognition awards where the peers vote for each other, but every single piece of work gets a finished page in this gallery, which is a public facing page that they can share with friends or family. And we've already seen students actually use these artifacts to get into school, to get into jobs. And we've even had people approached just by being in this gallery. So it is an exciting endpoint to the program, something to look forward to in December. And lastly, I do want to so that's kind of the student experience. You're going through this iterative process with others. Giving feedback is key. But as a teacher, I mean, in terms of what we've built to support you, when you log into our platform and click My Group, you will see, again, your list of students here if you needed to adjust name and email. But what I want to just draw your attention to is this progress report, which has everything your students have done. So you have views into their uploads, and you can also click in to see all of their comments. All of our comments are moderated. Everything is moderated, so nothing gets through. And along the top, we just added last week, is we do have teacher guides per step, and we'd love feedback on those if you're using them, because it's our first pass.
Well, I wanted to add too, because I know that I believe that Sarita was asking about like, hey, like if my program is like 2 weeks, and so because you just described how like, you know, ideally you're going to the live sessions, you're providing your deliverables. But one thing that I've found is that every year my class looks a little bit different. If we meet 2 days a week, 5 days a week, so on. So there's a lot of leeway. Yeah. And if your school has to miss a week and so on, or even if you're meeting every single day, there's a lot of additional supplemental lessons and activities that you can do. So there's a lot of flexibility with that. And the videos, like you said, the videos that are subtitled are great, because then you can even get ahead if you're trying to compact it all to like a couple of weeks. Yeah. So sorry.
Yes, Deborah?
Sorry, I was wondering if we could go back to the seeing what the teacher sees. I was wondering, can I see the comments that my students make to other people? Yeah. And then can I see the comments that they received from others?
Yes. So to your first question, I'm in my account right now. So here's me drilling into what I did as a student. So for every step, if I want to see the comments I've given, I can click here, and they're all here for you, especially for evaluation purposes. Okay. So that's the comment this user has given to others. And in terms of comments they've received, that's actually we've created project pages to make this really simple. So this upload, I'm actually in my test account right now, but these blue buttons would take me to that project page, as you can see, and I can see the comments they've received.
But they can watch any of the live streams whenever they want. Like I could show it during class time if there was one that I thought was really valuable for them all to see.
Precisely. And actually, maybe this is worth showing you, because in this new version of our platform, we've tried to make this easy. So let's just say you're doing character. This is probably my favorite step in the course, and it's a meaty step because you're designing a character arc. Mm-hmm. We have added this usually 2 to 3 minute video that is someone usually at Pixar or another studio explaining like what you're doing in this step, a nice little mini kickoff video to get people excited. And in this case, they're referencing how films have done this character arc. But if you wanted to do, a deeper dive, we always have this getting started video, which is usually 12 to 18 minutes. That is like a true, what you'd expect, like a lecture on character. So that's always there right at your fingertips.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I love starting the class by showing examples that other students have completed, because it really inspires folks. So even if they want to, I don't know if they're able to tune in and see those finished products, but that might be really inspiring for them.
They're super excited. I was really surprised when I surveyed them at the beginning, because this is the first time I'm teaching this class of Introduction to Creative Media, and I knew animation needed to be a part of it. So I was really grateful for this program, because I've never animated. I know nothing about it. So I'm really counting on you guys to teach them. But they were all really excited to do it. And so I did wonder about like tablets and iPads and stuff, but you're saying they don't need any of that. And FlexClip, when I've tried to use it in the past, they're all on Chromebooks. So with FlexClip, and I think one, there was a watermark, and two, can they use that on a Chromebook?
They can, and there is a watermark.
Yeah, and I'll just chime in one more time. Sorry, but because I did have to teach this in a school where we didn't have any equipment. We didn't even have Chromebooks. So the students were mostly tuning into these live sessions from their phones. They were doing their assignments from paper. And I was helping them, doing some light editing and submitting. And so I was a lot more hands-on. However, they were working, just as hard or even harder than my other classes, because once again, the focus is on the story and like their voice. And so I think the real power here is hearing from these people who are doing this. They're actually professionals doing it. And they say all the time, my favorite thing to use is a pencil and a paper. I still do that, no matter how much. So, of course, if they have this technology, they should use it. But that is one thing that I love about this particular program. So,
yeah. And Deborah, I also want to go back on it, that pressure that the students feel in your classroom, which I understand as an educator. Yes, got to keep them moving. We do have 3 different deadlines throughout the course of the year. So you're not, you don't have to submit for this December. You don't have to submit. You have a year. So anytime within the year. So I want to say it's December, May, and September. Am I correct here off top? That's me without looking at notes. Yes, December, May, and September. And then your students, this is the other beautiful thing, so say you are teaching this semester and your students are submitting for this December. You send a timeline for them. They submit this December. Your students will still have access to the program throughout the course of the year.
And that's what I took it as an adult, so I could test run it and make sure everything was legit. And I don't know if you were here earlier, Sarita, but it was the entire experience for months was positive. It was there were 220 people from around the world. So I was constantly getting feedback, and everyone was polite and constructive. I know I had a student who I've had for 4 years. I really talked him into taking the class. It was an after-school class. He took it. His dad pulled over and said, "Hey, look, last night he made 12 movies." Even if they were short, just little stick people, it just inspired him to say, it doesn't have to be well drawn. Like you said, it's about the story, or it made him feel empowered that, he was accepted.
I know. I'm sorry, because I know that we're kind of running late. We just want to jam so much in there, but I just wanted to just add 2 more things in there, because the first one is, I thank you, James, for saying that, because I feel the exact same way, and I've been using this for a couple of years now, and it only makes the culture in the class that much healthier and better, because all the students are sharing something so personal, and they learn how to provide safe positive feedback. So it has only improved the conditions in my class. And I'm talking
Nice.
all the way from middle school to college, right? And so college students tend to be like, you know, they don't tend to be rude, but they do tend to be shy. So this helps as well.
We are here for teachers. We love to get on the phone with teachers at any step in this process. We will stop what we're doing to Zoom with you. So don't think this is like hi bye, because we're learning from you. So if you don't ask it now, just ask us anytime and we're here for you.
And stay in touch with us throughout the process. Communicate. You're a major part of us evolving this program. So again, we thank you. And we are talking about doing some other sessions as we, still not there yet. I don't want to scare my team, but I really envision for each step really having little sessions in which we can rock out with you guys along the way. So we'll continue to enhance our PD, and we appreciate your feedback to help us improve it.